Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Limbus Company video. Today we're going to be doing the Mnestic Experience Reflectrial against Im Gyung Yup, who I am still probably absolutely butchering that pronunciation, but it is what it is. As you can see, we're going to be using the House of Spiders for the first half of this fight, or if we get lucky enough, the entire fight. This is hard mode, by the way, because obviously I only want to show hard mode. Showing normal mode's kind of like... it's not really worth it, considering it's just slightly easier. Like, the only real buff that happens is... I know there's a 25% health boost, and other than that, I don't think there's really much of anything. At least that's to say, the actual fight itself doesn't really change much. Let's see. This is the Tribulation. 25% health, SP does not drop below 0, and then her main gimmick of the Swordplay of the Homeland, which I'm gonna be honest, I fought this boss like a lot of different times at this point, and I still have basically no idea how their gimmick works. All I know is she gets stronger the more or less Swordplay of the Homeland she has, but it's like, it's so confusing, like, how she actually gains it. You need to clash against specific skills, or, like, don't clash against specific skills, and it's just... it's too complicated. It's better to just completely ignore her gimmick and pretend like everything's fine. And so that's exactly what we're doing. That's how I've basically been playing this fight anyways, for the most part. Now, one of the main reasons why I am actually using the House of Spiders is because they're kind of new, so obviously I want to play around with them a bit, but more so I just wanted to talk about, like, in my opinion, the most optimal way to actually play with the House of Spiders. Because one of the things with the House of Spiders is, specifically for using them with Ryoshu, because she's kind of the whole thing that they revolve around, is that since she ends up killing all of them, half of the spiders, they can't actually take advantage of their main gimmick. Like Otis, for example, here. She is absolutely never going to ever unseal Levatian in this fight. She can unseal 1, maybe 2 layers, but never all 3. And the same goes for Honglu as well, because his closing time skill, that's only ever really going to be used if he has a lot of ring identities in the team with him, which, with the only ring identities in this team being Faust and himself, it's never going to happen. However, the other two Nurse Fathers of Yisong and Rhodia, they both can actually use their ultimate skill when used with Ryoshu. And that's because they are independent. Their gimmick is completely independent of what actual team they are being used in. So effectively, the actual order in which you deploy your units is very, very important for this team. Because one of the biggest things is, in order for Isong specifically, in order for him to actually use his Furioso, you effectively need to activate his passive, at least if you want to do it before Ryoshu kills him. You need to activate his passive, which means you need a Pride, Gluttony, and Gloom skill all on the first turn. Pride is easy because Ryoshu herself gives it with her defense skill, and you are almost always going to use that turn 1. For Gluttony, you have both Isong himself and also Faust. And then Gloom, you have Isong again with Don Quixote and Sinclair. So to guarantee that his passive is active on turn 1, you need to have Faust on the team deployed early, as well as one of either Don Quixote or Sinclair. At least in order to guarantee it, that is. So other than that, you basically just want to deploy Rhodia and Isong second or third in the deployment order, so Ryoshu kills them last, and then you want to have either Hoglu or Otis as the 7th deployment order, so that she ends up killing them first, and thus her actual, how many identities she can kill in a single turn is doubled afterwards, because she does need to kill a Nurse Father first in order to actually have efficient time with her killing. But yeah, as you can see here, it is very easy to actually be able to use both Furioso and Disposal if you are using this full team. Technically speaking, you don't need to kill either Yisong or Rhodia either, because basically right now at this point, there's no real reason to actually kill either of them. Like it's probably is better to keep them alive at this point. I mean, you get an extra skill slot for Ryoshu if you do it, but it's not really that necessary, all things considered. However, I will keep them alive in this case, simply because I don't know, I feel like it. It would technically, I think it would technically be better to well, technically, it's not even good to kill Yisong on this turn anyways, because it's not like we would get the extra coin from killing him on this Echo Shear skill. So it's better to just keep him alive, and maybe he'll be able to use another Furioso by the time we get the ability to use another Echo Shear. We'll see. He gets staggered here because of his own one single tick of burn damage, though. And that's thanks to Ryoshu's bleed damage that she got inflicted with. I was kind of expecting the fight to end on that last turn, but I guess not. Oh well.
수 없다고 생각하는 직원이 보인다면
그려낸 대로. 이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라.
There we go, phase transition. It took a bit longer than I expected it to be, but doable.
요즘 고민거리는 없어?
그려낸 대로.
앞으로 하나.
알고 있겠지.
Oops.
예측은 의미 없다.
I don't know why, but I just completely forgot that that would kill
마침내 끊어냈나.
Isong there. I don't want to kill him.
베어내리라.
He was one away from a second Furioso.
사냥 끝. 예측은 불사이군. 그럼
I just completely spaced. I just autopiloted him like, oh, we're gonna get hit by unbreakable coins, probably. So let's use a defense skill, and she didn't even activate her unbreakable coins because she needs 6 poise in order to do that. I'm too used to the mirror dungeon version, I think. She doesn't gain nearly enough poise as quickly as she does. In this fight as opposed to the mirror dungeon.
죽음이라지만 별을 잊지 못함이 속을
어우, 단테 고생해.
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라.
I hope Ryoshu can actually beat this fight within the time limit, but I don't know. It's definitely going to be really close if she can. Specifically because, like, when I did normal mode, we literally barely won. Thanks to a lot of burn damage. But in this fight, the main difference of this between normal mode and hard mode is that you have an extra... Is that, yeah, the boss has an extra 25% health, so... Considering we only have 2 turns left, I don't think it's happening.
그려낸 대로.
Maybe somehow miraculously, Ryoshu can pull out 4,000 damage. But even her ultimate skill only does like upwards of 500 to this boss, so... Like I said, it's going to be pretty close. If she can do it.
낮도 밤도 지워 숨이 닿도록 베어낼 것.
But yeah, we're rocking in at around like 500 damage a turn. And we don't even get the Blade Singer. Bye bye, bye bye, Marcel.
엄청 고통스러웠겠다. 그 고통과 미움을 똑같이 적에게 돌려줘 볼까?
이봐, 버틸 자신 있어?
직원 하나가 더
Yeah, with them both being staggered, it's basically...
다들 왜 그런 표정이야?
Ryoshu is not going to be able to finish this on her own. Oh well.
그려낸 대로.
Valiant effort, but maybe if we got an extra Furioso off, things would be different. But unfortunately, I accidentally killed Isong a little too early. Oh well. Ultimately, though, I do really like this this fight for the Reflectrial. In fact, if any Reflectrial fight becomes a permanent one, I think this is a very good one that could do it. Mostly because, like, it does kind of... It doesn't do the same thing that the other Reflectrials have had a pretty major flaw in that they focus too much on a specific team archetype. Like, Ricardo's Reflectrial, you basically need to use a middle team, and the Falvist, it was less so, but you still really did want to use a ring team in that one. I'll continue this thought in a second once I get in with the next team of the Blade lineage, because why not? I said the Blade lineage, but it's actually the Blade lineage plus the full stop office plus a maid. But other than that, it is the Blade lineage. So, where was I? I was talking about how this fight is actually really, really nice in regards to just being a good Reflectrial in general for general teams, because unlike the other ones, you can use pretty much any team you want and be successful here. And that's because the actual fight itself doesn't really give much benefit to any one team archetype in particular. I mean, it does give some benefit to the Blade lineage specifically. Most notably, it gives them like extra damage, damage resistance, and the removal of their first stagger threshold, but in regard to the actual fight itself, it doesn't actually change that much about the actual fight. And so while they do get a lot of extra benefit, like for example Ishmael here, she literally cannot be staggered at all. It's really not that big of a deal. The Blade lineage does get a lot of benefits, but ultimately they aren't needed for this team, for this fight to be successful. And that's what makes this a really good Reflectrial.
적합한 판단이었어? 덮어놓고 공격하는 것보단 적을 잘 관찰하는 게 중요하지. 어머해줘. 여긴 맡겨주세요.
우리가 우세를 점하고 있어. 하지만 여기서 방심하면 안 돼.
All right, I think we're ready to shoot the big bullet.
완벽하고 빈틈없.
한 점만 노린다.
Still probably the best animation in the game, even if he does roll tails and it gets
적합한 관리법이었어요.
twice as worse because of that. But still, I love the full stop. I love the full stop office. They'll always be some of the best identities in the game.
무엇을 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어.
The Blade lineage are also pretty cool. Specifically, Missile with his new ego. And also Yisong. Like, Yisong's also really cool here with the Blade lineage. Just for the sheer fact alone that he is a launch identity who's actually pretty good. And that's like incredibly rare. Also, I think I finally figured out this boss's actual main gimmick. Yeah, it's basically her two different forms. She has single coins and multiple coins, and it's like it is the less swordplay of the homeland she has, the worse her single coins are, and the more she has, the worse her multi-coins are. So basically, when she is in single coin stance, you want to clash against the Wrath skill so that she loses swordplay of the homeland, and when she's in the multi-coin state, you want to clash against the pride skill, so she gains swordplay of the homeland and thus loses coin power slash base power.
발광. 차단.
So you clash against that, and then she loses a lot of coin power, but not enough to actually make her clashing good in this case, but it is better. Very much, definitely better. A lot better. Absolutely better. I think the problem is that the coin power doesn't change until after the turn is over. Like the coin power is set at the start of the turn. So, yeah, she kept the +4 coin power there. Even though we won the clash and set it to +2. Because right now, yeah, you can see they're +5 right now. With their coins, and instead of the +7 like they were. So, there's that. Hi, this is me in the editing here, and yeah, it turns out this is actually completely wrong, and the reason why she didn't actually gain any swordplay of the homeland is because of this passive right here that says the turn she uses an envy skill, which was that turn, that you cannot alter how much swordplay of the homeland she has, which I didn't know that existed. Unfortunate, but what can you do? The problem is Ishmael's probably going to die here.
물러서지 않겠습니다.
Because of the unbreakable coins.
귀와 요격. 함수. 정리노하.
But I'm sure a single claim, I'm sure a single bone claiming will be able to fix everything.
균형 삼수. 상전. 정리노하.
There goes Ishmael.
알려준 대로 잘했어. 역시 수련 프로그램을 진행한 건 잘할 일이야.
정의보다도 풍자여 생명 속에 파묻힌 그대가 여기서 빛의 우리 앞을 막는 증오스러운 나와 그대의 힘을 합쳐 위대한 아르카나 슬레이어!
Gotta have the Queen cameo whenever I get the opportunity. Interesting. It seems she did actually lose the coin power there when I won the clash, so I don't know why it was so strong earlier.
정말 살려내실 수 있는 거죠?
Very strange. Very strange indeed.
바람구멍을 내주지.
Yeah, like I said, nothing a single bone claiming can't do. More scuffed ending than I would have liked, but hey, it worked out in the end.
저것들은 언젠가 다시 재생하겠지.
And that's how I beat Im Gyung Yep. Ooh, I'm still probably butchering her name. That's how I beat her Reflectrial. Anyway, that's it for me. Like and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.